Hey there, teenage Baltimore! Don't change that channel because it's time for the inspiration show with the one and only Kate Marilley. I am so honored and excited to welcome the incredible Kate to the inspiration show. She has been someone I've looked up to for countless years, and I'm just so honored to have you here. Kate is currently starring as Velma VonTussle in Hairspray at the Cape Playhouse. Thank you so much for joining me, Kate. I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm so excited that you asked me, Allison. I can't wait to dive in and talk about all things theater and hairspray and life. So,
Yeah.
yes,
So let's start at the very beginning. When did you discover that you had a passion for singing, dancing, and for theater?
my parents were actors. I deem myself a dressing room baby. So my mom and dad did musicals and plays. I'm originally from Southern California, and they met doing I think they were either in an acting class or they were in rehearsals for Shakespeare's like Othello. And that's where it all started. They met, fell in love, got married. Here I am. And so I was around theater a lot of Shakespeare, to be honest. My dad did a lot of Shakespeare plays, Merry Wives of Windsor, Hamlet, yada yada. My mom did. I think I remember seeing my mother in Julius Caesar when I was a kid. So like I've just been around it a really long time. And so my parents put me into dance first, put me into tap shoes very, very young, probably at the age of like right when I could walk, like 2 or 3 or so young. Ballet and tap shoes. Singing probably started around like 5, 6, like just simple stuff. And acting was always part of my upbringing. But I would say I really started getting into it around like 10, 11. This is when I became a professional actor. I became a professional actor very young. Yeah, so I've been dancing, singing, acting since I was basically a fetus.
Wow. I love the term dressing room baby. I love that
Yeah.
so much. I mean, I think it's so special too, because I always say, like, when I was young and stepping out on the stage, like, I always felt like the theater was home. But that's so special,
Yeah.
getting to see your parents do it and having them have fell in love, met doing that passion, and now that it's your passion, I just think that that's the most beautiful full circle.
It's ingrained. It's in my DNA, in the veins, you know. And they didn't press me to do it either.
Yeah.
They put me in it. Saw like if it was any fun. I had a lot of energy as a kid, so they wanted to like get the energy out. But I also did a lot of I was a competitive gymnast, I did those kinds of stuff too. Like they wanted to give me a lot of options,
Yeah.
and not make sure that it was my choice that I wanted to do this. And it 100% is. So that's good news.
Yeah.
But no, no, yeah, I'm very grateful to also have parents who are so supportive and
Yeah.
understanding of this crazy business we call showbiz.
Well,
Yeah.
the lovely business we call show. There's nothing like it.
Yes.
There's
Business so
nothing like
show.
it. Oh.
Nothing like it. Yeah.
So, what really inspired you to become a performer and pursue it professionally, and who have been some inspirations of yours throughout your incredible career?
Um, I would honestly say my mom and dad were my first inspirations. I know, boring answer, but because I was around them so young, um, watching them recite high language, like Shaw and Shakespeare and Moliere. I just thought it was so interesting. There's a really funny story my dad likes to tell of my mom and dad were like rehearsing something in the living room, and um, I was a kid and could barely talk, and they were like doing Shakespeare with their hands, and I grabbed a book from the library and I got up and I started doing this and making sounds, but I wasn't speaking English. I was like baby gibberish sounds. So I think that was obviously an inspiration to me was watching them. But I would say I have distinct memories of seeing as a performer, not as an actor, as a performer. I went to see the Nutcracker one day. I was very, very young. And I remember watching these dancers and how I was a dancer, but I wasn't like that kind of dancer yet. And watching these beautiful ballerinas, the way they effortlessly danced, but also felt so grounded. And they were performing through their face and their bodies. And I remember sitting Southern California. It was what theater was that? The Amundsen, or maybe it was the South Coast Repertory or something. They were doing Nutcracker. And I remember saying, I want to do that. I want to get better at that. That's what I want to start working toward. And that was the beginning for me to really start taking dance seriously and really want to get better, not just for fun, but for like maybe future stuff. And I was probably 6 or 7. And I also saw the national tour of Les Mis
Of
at the
course.
Pantages Theater when I was very young. And I remember seeing the young Cosette, and I was like, I could do that. Not so much inspired, like, oh, look at these. I was more like, that I could do. And dad was like, really? And I was like, yeah, I think I can do that. So he started putting me into acting and singing classes. And I would say that seeing like those and seeing my peers, honestly, as a young kid too, and watching them grow and get better inspired me to get better too. Watching them take it so seriously, I was like, well, maybe I should be taking more class. So honestly, those are the main things. At the beginning are my parents seeing Nutcracker, seeing Les Mis, and my peers around me who kind of were my support system, but also pushing me to get better. But some actors that I really love so much, and they still inspire me today, are probably Kate Blanchett. I just think that she's incredible as an actor. Daniel Day-Lewis, I just think that he is, gosh, he's a time warp. He can do anything in any
Oh,
time period. He transforms. Who else? Gosh, there are so many incredible actors that I'm also just a big fan of the older movie musicals and watching the Sid Charisse, the Vera Ellens, the Vivian Blaines. Yeah, I would say just I'm a big movie guru, and I love watching the actors of the older days, the golden age, and I'm still inspired. Lucille Ball. Oh my God,
yes. Oh,
Lucille Ball. Yeah, for sure. I could go on and on.
oh, I mean, it's so special to me, to be a theater kid and to get to look up to you and watch your entire career. But that story you shared about baby Kate speaking in baby iambic pentameter, that's gonna stay
Yes,
with me forever. That's
isn't that
staying with me forever.
ridiculous? Ah,
That
it's so
is
funny.
amazing.
I don't remember it, but apparently it happened. So
That
yeah.
is amazing. Oh. So you attended Carnegie Mellon University School of Drama, where you earned
Yes.
a BFA in acting and musical theater, and you
Yeah.
also studied classical acting at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, the incredible LAMDA. So you
Yep.
also did Shakespeare and stage combat there. So
Yeah.
how did these experiences at both these incredible schools shape you as a performer and prepare you for a career in this industry?
Carnegie Mellon was a beautiful challenge. Very small program back when I went, and they really, in a positive way, they really break you down and really try to remove old habits and try to strip away any preconceptions you have of acting, which is somebody who's been around it my whole life. That was really hard for me.
Yeah.
But they gave me an incredible foundation for classical acting. Carnegie Mellon and LAMDA, of course, too. I'll get to LAMDA in a second, but Carnegie really gave us that important foundation for acting, for reacting, for scene work with your partner, and really developing um, relationships with your onstage colleagues, and also just like looking at the arc of a character. And I still do that today. I still look at, and I'm doing it right now with Velma. I mean, I know it's Hairspray, but she has an arc, and she has to have a moment
Totally.
that in the show switches, right? And so that's what Carnegie taught me is tracking your character through a script or a score or whatever it is, and really finding those moments that are milestones in the development of the character's journey. Um, Movement, we did something called Suzuki. We did stage combat there too. A lot of vocal work, not just singing, but projection and dialects and accents, which I have found incredibly helpful in my career, are the accents and the dialects I've had to use in roles and care. I just finished doing The Importance of Being Earnest, which was RP, which is received pronunciation, but slightly higher British dialect than some other characters in the show. And it all matters, you know, so it's nice to have that foundation when you go into any kind of play like that, or Billy Elliot that I did, which was a Geordie accent, which is not technically British. It's like right on the cusp of Scotland and Ireland, but still it's very challenging. So you have that foundation, right? And Carnegie gave me that along with my best friends who I met there and my constant rocks and support system. Um, I could go on and on about school, but I think it's so important to get that kind of education if you can. Not not that it matters like to becoming a better actor like in the long run, but I think it gives you important tools, milestones, foundations to help you improve as an artist because we're always learning, right? I'm still learning even in this production, and that's what I have is that base. And then with LAMDA, that for me was the big turning point for me, like huge turning point. My mom went to LAMDA.
Hmm.
So she wanted me to go get classical training at the age of, gosh, I think I was really young. I think I was 16 or 17. She shipped me off on a plane and threw me over to London for a while. I was terrified. It was so scary because you're a kid, right? And I never
Right.
lived
Yeah.
on my own before
Yeah.
and in a foreign country. And it was the
Mhm.
best time of my life, or my young adult life for sure. It just shaped me in terms of being thrown into the deep end with no floaties on. Eat the deep end of the pool, no floaties, and saying sink or swim. And I still use some of those Shakespeare monologues I was given to this day. It helped me get into college, helped me to, get into the colleges that I got into, including Carnegie Mellon. Um, it literally helped me mature from kid to young adult. I think that was the point of as a person, but also as an artist was LAMDA and that time there catapulted me into adulthood. So that when I was there from back to my senior year of high school, I was ready to go into that next chapter of college and really continue my training. And stage combat too. My dad was a stage combat person. He was on the movie Hook. He was one of the people in the movie Hook that worked on it with sword and dagger. So I had been doing it since I was a kid. So that was really cool to like revisit that too.
That is incredible. And I can't imagine what that training must have been like, with Lambda getting to do that in London and then also coming
Yeah.
back to Carnegie and coming back to the States and like getting to train all around the world and like those kind of different tidbits from international places must have changed you in such an
It
incredible way.
did. Yeah, absolutely. Highly recommend. Highly recommend if you can ever trot over there. I mean, it was a luxury for me to even be given that opportunity. But it really did, like you said, shaped me and changed me as a person and as an artist.
Yeah. I mean, you've also had the opportunity to bring so many incredible characters to life through regional theater. So I want to touch on that a little bit. Are there
Great.
any productions or roles that you've performed in regionally that have been especially meaningful to you, and what made those experiences so special?
The first one that comes to mind was last year was Sweet Charity, was Charity Hope Valentine. I love her so much. And I'd never done the show before. I don't know if you know it at all, but Gwen Verdon, of course, is the original. She is
Yeah.
Charity. Was
Yeah.
basically made for her.
Yeah.
And she's another inspiration for me is Gwen Verdon. I just think that she's incredible and what she achieved as an artist and as an actor. But yeah, Sweet Charity for me was the hardest thing I've ever done and the most rewarding in terms of role. She doesn't leave the stage
At
basically at
all.
all.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has, I think, one
Oh,
scene in Act Two, in Act One, is the Frug, where they do that like 10 minute or 5 minute, whatever number. And that was the only time I could go to the bathroom.
yeah.
I literally,
Oh,
a Sweet Charity for me was the hardest thing I've ever done, vocally, physically, spiritually, all the things. Mentally, I had to like I was a hermit. I couldn't go out. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't have fun like out with people except maybe like on a day off I could go do something. It was physically grueling and but the most emotional journey for me. I don't know if I would ever do it again
I feel
because
that
it
that
was
show was a
so
beast.
tired. It was she was a
Yeah.
beast.
Yeah.
But her journey is so mirrored in mine actually a lot And I just, the way she, and the way we ended the show, we rewrote it at the end. We got permission to like end it differently because I just didn't feel that my charity at the end would get pushed in the lake again.
Yeah.
And well, she's changed, at least the way I played it.
Yeah.
She's evolved and changed throughout the piece. She's regained some self-love, self-care, self-respect. Like she's not going to let people treat her like a doormat anymore.
Mm.
And I just told the director, I was like, I don't think we can end it like this. I really think that she is heartbroken when Oscar breaks up with her and have that breakdown every night, like full tears, full emotional trauma, have to like go to my own stuff to really like bring that up again. Was also healing in a way too. So that's what art does. And that's what acting does for me, at least, is finding anything in the character that I can relate to. Even even the difficult characters like Velma. What can I relate to here? Is she that bad of a person? Charity, is she that much of a doormat? How can we lift her up at the end? So Charity for me, although I'm a dancer, physically was rewarding and taxing. Um, it was really the acting journey for me that really was fulfilling, and I will forever cherish that role, that experience, that cast. It's the Gulf Shore Playhouse in Naples, Florida. I've been there 3 times now. I'm so fortunate that they keep having me back. Um, and that one really stands out. I'm trying to think what else there is. There's probably so many more.
I know you did hundreds. There's like hundreds.
Um, oh, go ahead. What were you going to ask, Allison?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say there are so many beautiful productions that you've been part of. I wanted to kind of pick out your favorites. I didn't want to like choose for you, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll choose a couple more. If there's any you want to ask about,
Yeah.
let me know. I did a new musical called My Paris,
Mhm.
which was at the Goodspeed Opera House. So we also did it at Long Wharf Theater. That was directed, choreographed by Kathleen Marshall, multi-Tony Award-winning Kathleen Marshall, Kiss Me Kate, you know.
Wow.
Um, and it's about Toulouse-Lautrec, who was an artist, a French artist, and he is famous for his drawings, paintings, sketches of the real performers of the Moulin Rouge and of En Mouliton. And En Mouliton is a smaller, seedier, grittier version of the Moulin Rouge. So the Moulin Rouge back in the day, what the movie is based on, obviously, uh, wasn't all glitter and glam. It was the underbelly. It was the gosh, what would you call it? It's like a cabaret space almost. We're dancers and it was very ruckus, very kind of dirty. And Toulouse-Lautrec came from a very rich family and he wanted to break out and wanted to like do his own thing as an artist and not rely on the money. So he moved to Paris and became an artist and lived in a tiny little place. And he was famous for drawing Yvette Gilbert, who is who I played in the musical, and this woman named Suzanne Validon, who also became an artist. Jeanne Avril, which was a famous can-can dancer at the Moulin Rouge, amongst many others. And for example, the musical and movie of Moulin Rouge is like Satine is based on Yvette Gilbert. Yvette Gilbert is Satine, so she's a chanteuse. So like, there are some costumes she wears that literally is the famous drawing that Toulouse-Lautrec drew of her with the long black gloves and the green or bright red dress. And she had this bright red hair that was piled up on her head. And she would sing, they're called patter French songs that Edith Piaf is also very well known for. So Edith Piaf is a student or was inspired by Yvette Gilbert, who started that genre. And that role for me to play the real person of Yvette Gilbert was really interesting and cool and a challenge because we don't know a whole lot about her other than what Toulouse Lautrec knew about her. We have some recordings of her singing because it was back in like like 1912, 13, 14. Like it was, and so when I went to Paris a few years ago, I went to visit her grave, which was really cool to pay my respects to, right? To,
Beautiful.
yeah, pay my respects to both Yvette Colbert and Jean Avril, who is also in the movie Moulin Rouge, like the one of the lead can dancers in it. She's based on her. Um, so I just love that whole era. And so to go dive deep into the Moulin Rouge, the Omelette, the that era of can of when champagne was invented, like Paris,
Yeah.
France, that was really special for me.
Oh, and I mean, every time you get to step into the role of playing somebody who was a real person, I feel like that is such a gift because you are passed on with this torch, and it's like, this is your story to tell now. And you kind of
Yes.
get to be what the audience knows of this person and what they take with them. And I think that that is just such an honor as an actor.
As an honor and also like a responsibility,
Definitely.
to do your best you can is to honor who came before you and respect that art form. It's also sometimes a bit of a challenge and a responsibility on your shoulders to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. Oh, there's so many more. You feel free to ask anything. You can interrupt me. I will
I'm
go on forever.
No, I love it. I'm like, this is, it's like a master class. Like, it's so special. And I mean, Derek Klena is a close family friend.
Oh,
So getting to hear about like the history of Moulin Rouge, I didn't really know that because he is what I know of Moulin Rouge. So getting this little history lesson was so cool and really
right.
special. And I
Oh,
know
I
you
could talk
also,
about it forever. I could talk about Moulin Rouge forever because I did it for 2 years.
yeah,
Not the musical Moulin Rouge,
yeah,
but
yeah,
this piece and how we
yeah.
built it over time.
It's the same world. It's kind well, the world of Moulin Rouge, the musical was inspired by
No,
this world. So
it
it's,
was exactly.
yeah,
It was inspired by these people. So to be able to play her and to like have her be represented in that stage version that's now so famous, very special.
yeah, and it's so special too because Dylan Klena, his younger brother, who I'm also
Yes.
really close with, he just finished his run in Anastasia, and I know you did Anastasia as well, and Derek originated Dimitri.
What? Yes. Wow. Full circle. Full circle.
Yeah,
Wait,
that
Dylan
was like
just finished doing it. How cool is that?
Dylan just did it regionally, which was so cool. And I mean, what was your journey like with that show? Because I mean, that show had such a special place in my heart. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
gosh, Anastasia, another incredible, well, movie
Yeah.
first. Obviously, the
Yes,
music is
yes.
beautiful and stunning, and the movie is not exactly what the stage version is.
Yeah.
At least my role is completely different. But yeah, I played Countess Lily Malevich,
Yeah.
and go to my Russian world now.
Yeah.
And that role was super fun because she's also kind of a hidden gem. Like she's
Hmm.
based on a real person as well. Also based on a real person. I don't think her name was Countess Lily, but she is a real person during the whole Anastasia storyline. But to bring her vivaciousness, to bring her spice, her zest for life, but also her um, deep respect for her roots of Russian roots, which is the whole land of yesterday song that she sings in the 1920s flapper world. Um, she is she's a ball buster. And
Yeah.
I too am a bit of a ball buster as Kate. So she was a real treat, a Russian treat to play every night. And I got to do it twice at the Bucks County Playhouse. It was a dual production also with Cape. But we had different cast members too, so new people came in. So the Bucks County version, which was very special and beautiful, um, was its own entity. And then to take it to Cape Playhouse with like half the cast that was the same,
Mhm.
but a new Anastasia, a new Dimitri, a new Count Leopold, a lot of new featured roles, ensemble people too. It was a different production. And that's the beauty about bringing in new actors to it. It can make the same show
Yeah.
completely different and just as beautiful and just as important. I would do that role again in a heartbeat. I loved playing Countess Lily.
And that's my favorite thing about theater too, is also, being an actor and being someone who I say it's a full-time job going to see theater because I love seeing everything that comes my way. And I love
Yeah,
seeing the same show with new cast members because yes, it's the same show, but also no, it's not because you see
it's
different people.
not.
and different portrayals. And I think that is one of the things about this industry that just keeps wowing me every day is like an actor is given the same script and the same lines as the person who originated the role because there's always somebody that has come before you when you step in to a role unless it was written for you or it's a special case.
Right?
I think it's so special to see that like the same lines are being spoken, the same score is being sung, but it's so different. And I think that's just something that just wows me.
Yes, and it's and as on the receiving end too, when you have in a long run
Yeah.
show or another dual production of a show, a new scene partner makes
Yes.
you react
Yeah.
differently
Different.
and actually brings out different sides of your character that maybe you weren't aware of,
Yeah.
or a new discovery, which makes it even more exciting and fun and juicy, right? It's like it's the percolating. It's really, yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about what we do for a living.
Yeah, I'll never forget when I was doing a show and I got to play opposite an understudy and he delivered a line so differently and I delivered it back differently. And like it was part of the run where, it kind of starts to become autopilot. And I
Yeah.
was just like, wow, like I've never said that way. And it opens your brain. And I think it's so special to see that like that little inside voice that's like, wow, it's new. It's new.
It's new and
And it's
fresh,
really
and you're still
special.
learning too, and we're still
Yeah.
discovering. That's the beauty about what we do. It's never the same. And every show performance that an audience sees of whatever you're doing, Hairspray, Anastasia,
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge, whatever it is, they're never going to see the same show twice. And
Yeah.
that is my favorite part about what we do.
Yeah. Oh, it's so special.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to jump into this because you made your Broadway debut as an original cast member of the Lincoln Center Theater revival of My Fair Lady. Oh, so what was it like stepping onto a Broadway stage for the first time, and what are some moments from that experience that you'll treasure forever?
Oh man. It was incredible. I mean, Lincoln Center Theater is the gem of Broadway. She's the jewel. She's
Yeah,
just
that she
up
is.
up there all the way by herself on 65th Street alone. No one's around her. Um, it's a very special place. I've been fortunate to be there twice, in two different shows, and I feel like it's a home now for me, and I love it there. My Fair Lady is a very important show for me. Obviously, I just who doesn't love My Fair Lady? Who doesn't love Lerner and Lowe? Who doesn't love Pygmalion? And to be an original cast member, I just and I was a featured role in it, and to have costumes built for you, thousands of dollars these costumes were by Catherine Zuber. Kathy Zuber is amazing, and Bart Scher, our director, who is a colleague but also like a friend of mine now. We've done lots of other things together. Um, I was incredibly fortunate and lucky, and I remember I think one of my favorite moments was that still stands out today. We were in tech um, for the show, and I think we were all very tired. It was a very long tech process.
It's tech. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a very so as opposed to Anastasia too, where you have like 2 days to tech. We had like a week and a half to tech this show, and the set. I don't know if you saw it, but it was huge. I mean, like massive, and we had an entire house, Higgins house, would sit at the back of the theater and it would like move on a some kind of track. And it was, I mean, could fit probably almost into this living room. It was huge. Um, I remember we put on the Ascot Gavotte costumes. They were like this, like light lavender, gray, beautiful costumes that were made, I think, in like Germany or something. They were made for our bodies like mock-ups, and then they were put on like thousands of dollars, these costumes, huge white like powder white Marie Antoinette kind of wigs, just like huge with these huge hats, right, wearing these new boots, and we were all so tired and annoyed. We were tired and annoyed, and just now thinking about being on Broadway and being tired and annoyed in a thousands of dollars worth of costume on the Lincoln Center Beaumont stage. Like, how dare I? How dare I be annoyed? But I remember standing on stage, we were all kind of getting irritated with each other. It was the full cast, I think, practically on the stage, filled the Beaumont, all like, standing in our poses because we were being lit by Donald Holder. Shout out Don Holder,
Shout out.
um, who is an incredible Broadway lighting designer, and he's lighting each of us in a specific spot so that we're like, whenever we sing the casket opening day, and we all had like little spots and moments. And I remember it was like 11 o'clock at night. We're still being lit, still doing minor shifts. People are starting to get a little angry with each other. And the orchestra, which was like a 20, 22, 25 piece orchestra, which is unheard of, by the way.
Yeah, that's unheard of on Broadway. Yeah.
And at Lincoln Center, they live under the stage. So their orchestra pit is not like in a pit in front of the theater or like somewhere else. Like it's underneath the stage. And we didn't know that they were under there about to start rehearsing, like the overture. They were going to start rehearsals with our music director. And we hadn't heard the full orchestra yet. And we were standing there, and Ted Sperling, our music director, just let us know that, hey, we're going to start rehearsing now. Don't mind us. We just need to start the process of getting to know each other and whatever. They started playing the overture, the full 22-piece orchestra of My Fair Lady. And I remember, I'm still getting chills now. It filled the space, and we all were like on stage going, oh, amazing to hear that score, 22-piece orchestra. And I suddenly went, I'm living my dream right now, in this moment. I could like almost cry. Like, how cool, how special that is, right? To want to get to that place, to stand on that stage, to be wearing that costume, listen to that score as my Broadway debut. I'll never forget it. And that's when I went, Kate, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Look where you are. How many people get to do this? How many people get to be on Broadway, originating this role, originating this moment at Lincoln Center Theater with this cast and this team? Mind blowing. So that's like there's so many more, of course, with My Fair Lady, but that was the one. I think it's the most important and very humbling too.
I mean, that's so beautiful. Just when you get to see it all come together. I mean, I always say theater is magic, but when you're standing there on that stage, hearing that orchestra being lit in the costumes, and I mean, especially with this show,
Yeah.
and what a killer Broadway debut, and just you get to
Yeah.
take it all in and feel it. It's like it's all there waiting for you, and
Yeah.
it's the biggest dream. That's what it is. It's beautiful.
Exactly. Exactly.
So you then went on to star in The Prom on Broadway, where you
Dude.
did literally everything known to man in this show. You swung for the roles of Dee Dee Allen, Angie, Mrs. Green, and Olivia Keating, while also serving as the assistant dance captain. And
Yes.
then you went on to tour with the show as Dee Dee Allen after that.
Yes.
So, what was that experience like taking on so many different responsibilities within the company? And what did it teach you about versatility, preparation, and being part of a Broadway ensemble?
Um, so I had done the out of town tryout of the prom at the Alliance Theater in 2016. So that was my first introduction to the show. There had been a prior workshop of it that I wasn't a part of, but um, that was the beginning of my journey with it, and it was a very special journey. Was the Alliance Theater's production? A lot of things in that production did not make it into the Broadway version. Some good, some bad, but I love that show. I love those people so much. I think of all the things I've done, that is my beacon of my favorite Broadway level experience I've ever had, because it was across the board, good people across the board, just joy and happiness, and I just felt incredibly lucky. So in the out of town tryout, I was in the cast and I played a role named Tiffany, and that was the Mrs. Green's best friend. And then when it moved to Broadway, I was basically asked if I would step out of my role as Tiffany, which was cut anyway, and be offstage cover because, ready for this, I looked too young to be a mom on stage.
My queen.
I looked like I was just a little bit in between, like I mom and kid.
Oh,
So thank you. Thanks so much. But so that was a little heartbreaking at first.
yeah.
This industry is filled with heartbreak at times. That's a story for another time, but
Yeah.
I was ended up being fortunate enough for Casey to offer me basically a swing, which is basically I wasn't contracted as a standby, but I was really more of an offstage understudy because there was very little ensemble that I actually covered. I was really my main job was to be covering Dee Dee Allen, Angie, and Mrs. Green, and then the featured role of Olivia Keating, and then one other featured role that Vasti Mompoint originated, my very good friend. So really only five roles that I was a cover for, and then I ended up going on fifth preview of Prom for Olivia Keating because of my colleague and fellow actor injured herself, and so I was thrown in to the show with no costumes or anything ready. Um, Mid show on
Oh my
Broadway,
God.
fifth preview, and then I played the role all through opening, all through previews for about a month and a half because
Wow.
she was very injured. And then after a certain amount of time, you have to bring somebody in because I have to be available for the other roles.
Yeah.
So I got a full month and a half and got to open the show and everything, which was beautiful. And then Dee Dee Allen, the whole story of me going on for opening weekend, because Beth got ill, very violently ill, the weekend we opened. We opened on a Thursday. She was violently ill on a Saturday. This is like all known, by the way. This is not like on the DL. It's like in interviews and stuff. And Beth talks about it too. So, where I was thrown into to the lead role with no rehearsal, no understudy, no rehearsal, no costumes, nothing.
Yeah. When,
Right,
yeah.
right then. And I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a really exciting experience. I think that having a file cabinet in my brain in the prom was important. Like literally like my Mrs. Green, my Olivia Keating, my dance captain brain, my Didi Allen, Angie. I would compartmentalize. And that was the only way I felt like I could survive it is if I every week I would focus like one role and work on this role for a few days. And then I would shift to Angie and then I would shift to Mrs. Green and then I would shift. That was the only way I could do it. And I took like a couple of days off a week. But it was hard for the brain, but also was never boring.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's the beauty with like a long running show.
Oh,
I was never bored because I was constantly like putting new people into a show as a dance captain and having to rehearse a new cast member or rehearse an understudy, but then also go on myself. So I was always on the edge of my seat, good and bad, you know. Uh, I just love that whole experience. It was so great. Yeah, it just transports me back to 2018, 2019.
and then what was your journey like touring with it? How did that come to be?
Well, now to be honest with you, Allison, I was only there for 1 week.
Yeah.
And that was because my colleague who was in the Broadway production with me, Courtney Ballin,
Yeah.
she got ill and I was the only option. I guess the
Yeah.
understudy was both understudies were ill.
It was a coverage thing. Yeah.
It was a coverage thing.
Yeah.
I was on vacation in France
Oh my God.
and I got a phone call. I was sitting by a pool in Provence and the head of networks called me and was like, we're in need of a Dee Dee Allen. We're desperate. And I was like, I'm in France. Like, I can't
Yeah.
come perform for you. And he was like, we'll fly you in.
Yeah.
So they flew me from Marseille, France
Oh my God.
to San Francisco the next day. I rehearsed that night and I was on the next day in a role that I hadn't done for 4 years
Yeah.
and I
That's
had only played 5 times.
yeah. That's why I needed to
Um,
ask about it. I was like, oh my
it
goodness.
was wild, another
Crazy.
crazy showbiz experience. I learned my lines on the plane, relearned them. Like imagine, like you haven't done a show in 4 years,
In
and you're
four
just like,
years.
okay, go do it. What? No.
Yeah,
So that was really scary. There was one moment where I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but I did it.
you did
Um,
it.
and that whole week was really exciting and so supportive from that tour cast and that team. So technically I did play it for a week, but I was a temporary replacement in the role. But I've literally done the workshop, I've done the out of town tryout, the Broadway production, and the tour.
You did it all. That what a journey with that show, and what a beautiful,
Crazy. Oh,
beautiful
truly, truly one of my favorite experiences ever.
So, in Flying Over Sunset at Lincoln Center Theater, you were also an original cast member and the standby for both Claire Booth Luce and Maria Huxley,
Yes.
two of the leading roles in the production, which is just wow. You
Yeah.
had the incredible opportunity to perform both roles multiple times. So, how did you approach preparing for both leading roles, and what was it like when that opportunity arose to go on stage for both of them?
Oh, well, okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. The show bridged the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, Flying Over Sunset 1.0, we started January of 2020, and our
Mhm.
first performance was the night of the shutdown.
Goodness.
So we got one performance in, and then Governor Cuomo shut down Broadway,
Yeah.
shut down the world
Yeah.
of New York.
Yeah.
Um, and we all, of course, all thought it was going to be 6 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. Turns out to be 18 months. We weren't sure if we were coming back. Um, the whole cast was trauma bonded with that experience, of course.
Yeah.
We would all talk several times a month over that 18 months, just to like keep relationships going. And then we were fortunate enough to come back rehearsing October 2021. And because the pandemic was still quite present,
Mm.
we were on the way out of it, but testing was still very rigorous. Um, they wanted to prepare the standbys in case of a spread.
Mhm.
So we had an entire week of rehearsal just to ourselves with the
Oh,
creative team.
that like wow, that is
Isn't that
wow.
incredible?
That is
Like,
that's incredible.
you don't get that. That's
I was just
another
gonna say
like
that never happens.
never happens. So James Lapine, our director and book writer, James Lapine, famous, of course, for
Yes.
Sunny in the Park and Into the Woods and
Yeah.
Passion, amongst many things. Michelle Dorrance is the choreographer, Kim Grigsby's music director, Tom Kitt, Michael Yori is the composers. So we all got together for a week before the whole cast joined us, and we rehearsed the show on our own with them directing us and working with us. And we were their guinea pigs for new material. So they would be throwing out new scenes, new lines, new choreography, new movement on us. And we were the ones basically helping to build it before
Wow.
the main cast came in, which looking back is what a gift to
That
do
is,
that.
yeah.
So I was very fortunate and lucky in that. I was so ready for all the roles, basically. Carmen Cusack's role of Claire Booth Luce was my apparently my main focus because her role was a beast. She was just huge. So that was my main focus. I was told. So I was very ready for her. I wasn't as ready for Maria because I wasn't rehearsed in her role as much because I had to focus on Claire. And then
Mm.
I also was secondary cover for the roles of Austin and Anne, which were originated first by Erica Henningsen and Michelle Ragusa, and then Kanisha Felciano was the 2.0 version of Anne. So I was also the secondary cover for those as well. So I was rehearsed in those, but that was never my priority. My priority was always those two, Maria and Claire. So I was very rehearsed, very very well prepared. It was a very stressful time, masks constantly, testing. We had to stay away from each other. We couldn't really socialize. Um, and then over Christmas, we were given Christmas off, I think, Christmas Eve to Christmas Day off. On that time, my dad flew in from California because he was still living there at the time. He tested and everything. And while he was there, I found out, unfortunately, that my friend, colleague, Laura Shoup, who played Maria Huxley, had become ill And I was going to be on for Maria Huxley for at least a week, if not 2 weeks. So I was on for 2 weeks straight for Maria Huxley. And I had barely been rehearsed in the part.
Yeah.
But it was so beautiful and wonderful, and nobody got to see that show. But um, I got to start the show with no music. It was a cappella.
Yeah.
So Harry Haddon Payton played Aldous Huxley, who I did My Fair Lady with. He was our Henry Higgins. So we're old friends. And so he would start the whole thing in the darkness with just a spotlight on him. And he would say these lines, and I would come on in darkness. And then a spotlight would come on me on that huge Beaumont stage, mind you. No
Yeah.
set, no set at all. Just you standing on the Beaumont stage with a spotlight and you singing in the darkness, when the stars begin to fade, with no music. Ah, I got chills. Um, just another gift. I was so lucky to have played that part for 2 weeks. And then at the end of my 2 week run, Laura was able to come back. The next day, I got a phone call that Carmen had become ill. And I was like, I was so tired, Allison. I was like,
I can't
what?
even begin to imagine.
So I had to be thrown into a role that I hadn't been rehearsing for 2 weeks because I've been playing Maria. So all the work I had been prepared for Claire was
What?
still there, but like I hadn't been working on it.
She's buried. She's buried. Oh no.
So I was thrown into Claire, and I only got to go on for her one time, but what a treat that was. Another incredible experience. James Lapine came in because he wanted to see me play the part,
Oh.
and give me a note session. So afterwards, the day after, we had a note session because he thought I was going to go on that night. And yeah, I just very, very beautiful experience, very different from the prom, very different from My Fair Lady,
Mm.
but it bridged like almost a 2 year period because we closed in January of 2022 and we started
Yeah.
rehearsals in January of 2020. So yeah, it was a beautiful experience, trauma bonded. Um, and it also shaped me in another way as an actor. Those roles definitely did.
I'm so happy that show got to grace the stage. I
Me
know with
too.
when Broadway got shut down, I mean, it was such a scary and unsettling time, but I am just so grateful that that show got to grace the stage because wow.
Yeah, that score, if you've never listened to it, listen to the score of Flying Over Sunset.
Beautiful.
It's incredible.
Beautiful. I am excited to jump into this one because this one's a special one for me. After performing on Broadway, you had the opportunity to take Beetlejuice on its first national tour as Delia, bringing
Yay!
iconic story and beloved characters to audiences across the country. So, what was it like taking on such a fan favorite role and getting to share this incredible production with audiences across the country? Because I mean, for me, Delia's the money. That's where the show is. So she's a special one for me. So I'm so
She
curious about
is.
what that was like for you.
She is a special treat, isn't she? She's just a kooky kook. I love Beetlejuice so much. That show also was never boring.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
constantly happy to be doing that show and that role. My pal Leslie Kritzer, of course, is the original on Broadway. We've worked together before. Leslie and I did cabaret together and something else, so we've known each other. So I reached out and I was like, hey, I'm playing Delia on the tour. I'm originating it. What do you got for me? Like, what do you got in terms of recommendations? So she was very helpful and just like giving me some advice, not on character development, but on like safety stuff. Um,
Yeah.
gosh, Delia is a whimsical whirlwind. Like
Oh
she's
yeah.
just in every way insane and but also so filled with heart, and she cares about Lydia and she just wants to be loved and she just wants to belong, whereas the film version with Catherine O'Hara, oh,
Oh
RIP, she's just another, going
yeah.
back to the beginning of our conversation, another inspiration for me would be Catherine O'Hara, absolutely across the board. um her Delia and her was actually not what the version on the stage is,
Yeah.
but we brought Moira Rose to it. So to pay homage to Catherine O'Hara in the way that um, some of my line readings, not all of Leslie's, but a lot of my inspiration was Moira Rose's version of Delia. And to make sure we make her have some groundedness, some heart, I just she's so bright, so colorful, so filled with hope to have a family and to find her people. You know, she's tried everything. She was in a band and she was in a cult and she was, you know, a witchcraft and she has a guru and she's just trying to find herself, which I think is the whole show by the way, is finding where you are and where you belong. Lydia too. Even Beetlejuice, honestly, just wants to belong and wants to have somebody, right? So I think that was the heart of the show, was finding yourself and finding you and finding myself on that journey too. It was hard. It was a hard tour. It was a hard show, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Oh, I love that show. And I
Me
mean that
too.
what a time. I mean, I was remember just sitting in that theater on the edge
Yeah.
of my seat, just like it was the most incredible thing. Like I didn't know where to look because I was just like, wow. And you get fully immersed in it. Like that was one of the first shows that I'd ever saw, and I was just like, that's it. I'm done. Like that's it for me.
Would you see it on Broadway?
Yes, I was like,
Oh,
it was
did you see
beautiful.
it? Did you see the one at the Marquee or the one at the
I
Winter
saw the
Garden?
one at the Marquee
Okay.
and it was gorgeous. And then I got to see it on tour in Toronto and it was just,
Oh, I'm sad I wasn't there for
yeah.
you.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, I got to see you in so many other lovely things and I'm just like, I'm just so like,
Ah, I'm so
what a,
glad.
that show is
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice,
gorgeous.
Beetlejuice was very, very special for me, and it was a little over a year that I did it, and I would definitely go back and do Beetlejuice again. I
Yeah,
love the show so much, and I miss Delia sometimes. I do miss her.
little crazy girl. Oh, I love
Yeah.
her. And the other first national tour that you got to do was Billy Elliot. You played Clipboard Woman and you understudied the role of mom. I mean, the story follows a young boy who discovers his passion for dance and like finding his place in the theater world. And I think it mirrors every theater kid's journey so
Yeah.
beautifully. And I wanted to ask, what was it like being part of that story that celebrates discovering your passion and pursuing your dreams? And I mean, especially with your personal connection to it, with your parents being so involved in your theater journey, what was it like to get to play the Clipboard Woman and also getting to understudy mom?
Billy Elliot is another important. I always, it's funny is after a while, you career wise, you forget things you've done. Um,
Yeah.
not that I have remotely forgotten Billy Elliot. That was my first Broadway contract. It was my first Broadway level gig, and it was the full creative team because they wanted to do different things with the tour.
Mhm.
And we were actually a sit down tour. We actually didn't tour. We only sat down in Chicago for a year.
Yeah.
So Stephen Daldry, the director, Julian Weber, the associate, Peter Darling, the choreographer, Ellen Kane, and the Elton John also came out. So we were all kind of rehearsing it together for like a couple months in Chicago, and kind of changing some things that they wanted to change from the currently running Broadway production. Interestingly enough, um, I love Billy Elliot. I've loved it since the film. So with Jamie Bell and I just think that Julie Walters, like, it's an important story because it's about raw natural talent that has been untapped and somebody who doesn't know it until a teacher comes in and goes, "Hey, you've got something special. Maybe we should discover." And I think that could be so many young artists' journey of being scared, maybe not having the proper support system at home to support you in that journey. Um, and Billy finds that he likes dance and it helps him express himself through a difficult time because he lost his mom when he was so young. And his dad is, they're going through that tough time as the coal miners are going on strike. And his brother is very angry. And he's just like in an environment that's just filled with chaos and filled with uncertainty. And dance is his way of coming home. And I think that for a lot of people, young and old, can relate to art and theater and movies or whatever as an escape, as a way to feel like you're held. And I think for Billy, that's what dance is for him. It's his way for him to express his emotions that aren't able to be expressed in the home setting. Um, so that's why it's such an important story, I think, is it's telling young people, you too can do this. Don't give up on your dream. Find somebody that is going to help you and guide you down the path that could get you where you want to go. And don't give up. Um, I think that's why it's such an important, and also that you can come from nothing. You can share a bedroom with three people and be poor. And if you find something that you really want to do, you can do it. Especially if you have that drive and that ambition. It's an important story. I think it should come back to Broadway, if I'm being honest.
Thank you. Thank you. I completely agree. I mean, growing up, my parents were always so supportive of my passions and going to follow my dreams. Like I had an arts education all the way through, a theater major in high school and in university, but Billy Elliot was that wake up and smell the coffee for me of like go out there,
Yeah,
go follow your dreams. And like that story is imprinted on my heart forever. Like it's
me
such
too. Me too. I did that for 2 years, and I that was probably another one that rarely for 2 years rarely was oh, I don't want to go do this today. You know,
a
it's just an important story to tell. So yeah.
Well, now it's time to jump into all things Hairspray. I'm super excited. So you are currently starring as Velma VonTussle in Hairspray at the Cape Playhouse. So after starring in Anastasia at the Cape Playhouse, you are now returning with another iconic musical. How does it feel to be back at this incredible venue and continue building memories on its stage, especially in its 99th year?
I love Cape Playhouse so much. I love
Yeah.
Dennis. I love Cape Cod. It feels like I'm coming home a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, in a very different way. Of course, Anastasia was a really special time last year with that cast. Oh, like nothing could change what Anastasia was. That was just a really special group of people. And Hairspray is another incredibly special group of people. Like this is a good group. Everybody is kick-ass talented, um, kind, supportive, generous. We're having a blast on the stage. I I feel very grateful, full of gratitude. Heart is full to be back. And Velma is a role I've never played in terms of she is the queen of mean.
Yeah.
Queen
Yeah.
of mean, Baltimore crabs, queen of mean.
Yeah.
Unapologetically mean. She is just but here those are the negatives. The positives of Velma. She is a self-made woman. She owns the TV station, mind
She's
you.
a
Her
boss.
husband her husband died and left her the money, but she invested it, and
Yeah.
she is the owner of the and producer of a TV station in 1962. Now that is unheard of.
Woo. Yes.
So in that time, so we have to look at her and go, wait a second. Yeah, okay, so she's cruel, she's racist, she's all the things that are the underbelly of the ugly underbelly of the show. But the positives are, and that's what as an actor I have to look at, is what can I see myself in Velma? Well, I am a self-made woman. I I have my own business of coaching, of teaching. I have boundaries. I'm not afraid to say no. I am ambitious. I'm driven. I am professional, classy, fashionable. You know,
Yes.
like she's all these things. She is in 1962 a powerhouse.
Yes.
And I think that's something positive to look at. She also really loves and cares about her daughter. Believe it or not, she wants her kid to be a star. She wants to make her daughter's dreams come true, and she will do everything she can to make it happen. Maybe too a little too far, but she
Yeah.
genuinely loves Amber and wants to put her up on that pedestal. And there are so many parents who don't do that. So like there's another positive with her. Like she cares about the TV show that she's producing and sharing to Baltimore. And she has dreams maybe of going like, ooh, going national. Like the national Miss Teenage Hairspray is a national televised spectacular. This is a big deal for her career. So when they come in and barge in at the end, of course she's going to be upset. You're taking her dream away from her. So So those are all the positives of Velma, on top of her gorgeous coif and her fashionable taste. She goes through a journey of having to, as an actor, having to find saying some terrible lines, about full-figured people and black people and women and men, and it's hard at times, but those were the times, and honestly, it's very relevant to today, unfortunately. So I think I'm representing a lot of people in this country right now
Yeah.
that are still in that mindset, that 1950s, 60s mindset of cruelty and hate and white people rule all. I think it's an important thing that I am representing and having to, at the end of the show, somehow get redeemed, which is, I'm still figuring out, by the way. Three performances in, and I'm not quite sure I have found that because that is hard. But I'll let you know. Stay tuned
Yeah.
regarding the Velma hairspray journey because I'm loving it. I can't wait to find more. Already in three performances, we have found stuff, but I think giving more time.
And I can't imagine what opening night must have been. And I mean, singing that song, I mean, that song is everything.
Oh,
I mean,
Baltimore crabs or
yeah. Oh my
oh,
God. Baltimore Crab. Oh, what a
are you going to
song.
see it? Are
I
you
mean,
coming to
I
see the
know.
show?
I want to come up and see it so badly.
Oh, I
It's
hope
on
you
my
do,
bucket list.
Allison.
Yeah.
Let me
Oh
know
my
if you
God. I
can.
will. I will. It's on my bucket list. I mean, and I want to ask you, what was your reaction when you found out that you were playing Miss Baltimore Crabs? Like, oh,
I was excited, but I was also like a little scared. I was a little
yeah,
scared because she is my first role that is the villain. I've never played the villain. I mean, I understudied Mrs. Green in the Prom, which is also the air quote villain of the show, but she's not
yeah,
really a villain. And at the end, she really does redeem herself, Mrs. Green.
yeah.
Velma, she's on another level.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I was a little bit like, how do I do this? How do I do this? So a mixture of joy, excitement, and trepidation for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and like, did you find any little like tidbits that are like a favorite part about playing her or like a challenging part? I mean, I know you've only done three performances, but throughout your rehearsal process, like, was there something that kind of you had to pull
Yeah,
from?
my favorite scene is when she turns. It's when
Yeah. Yeah.
her pressure point is pushed and she snaps. Is when Corny Collins and Spritzer, who is the Ultra Clutch, he's the sponsor of the show. Um, he doesn't want Tracy Turnblad on the show, and Corny is basically saying, "This is the future. This is what's happening." And he and I are fighting. And then he threatens me that he's going to take his show, Corny Collins' show, to Channel 11. And that whole scene, our exchange, Lucas Poost, who plays Corny Collins, and myself, we have a really interesting dynamic in that scene. And it's not remotely funny. And that's what I love about it. It's truly an acting scene of no humor. It's truth, it's raw, like underbelly of the stakes are high, power status, who's going to be on top. And it's really an exciting, percolating scene for me, which leads into Velma's revenge. And I love it. It's my favorite part of the show as an actor because I feel like that is her moment of going, I'm going to flip a table. I'm so mad because she otherwise holds
Yeah.
it together.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
And I also want to touch on your favorite part about getting to tell this beloved story because I mean I was talking to Grace about it, but I always say that like this show is the epitome of be the change you wish to see in the world. And like we
Yes.
were just saying, it is so timely. And although it is such a beautiful and fun story, it also has that underbelly of this is the world that we live in and we gotta stand up and you can't stop the beat. So, I mean, what is that like for you as an actor to get to tell this story for generations?
Incredibly important. It's so relevant right now and poignant. And I I've never done the show. I saw the original cast on Broadway and I was so young, I didn't really understand at the time. It was so frothy and colorful and bright and big wigs but nowadays looking to see what's happening in our own country and the world, frankly, um, coming together and doing the show, we are telling a story of acceptance, of progress, of getting rid of cruelty and hate, and truly not to sound, kumbaya, but can't we all just get along? Can't we all
Exactly. No, exactly.
can't we all just like all be together on TV? Why is this such a big deal? So I think as fun as the score is and as funny as the show is, it's really important that we're telling it now. And I think this is another show that should come back. I really do. I think it's a show that's important and should be revived. I really do.
Yeah. I mean, the music is just absolutely gorgeous, and the story is so much fun. And then it hits you. And
Yeah,
then you wake up and you realize, what are we doing? And I feel like theater is the best way to tell a story, to get a message across.
absolutely.
It wakes people up, it stays with them. And I say this, and it's a little corny, but for me, it's the truth. It becomes a piece of your heart. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Hairspray does. And it's beautiful.
And for audiences to see it and maybe see themselves in some of these
Yeah.
characters and
Yeah.
maybe reflect, even if it's for a couple hours.
Yeah.
That's our job, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a show. It's filled with so much joy and heart, and it's incredibly powerful because it has that message about acceptance and standing up for what's right. And what do you hope that audiences take away from this production when they come to see it?
I hope they take away that sense of hope, that sense of we, what can I do
Yeah.
in my day to day life, in my own mindset to change something about the way society, the road society is going down?
Yeah.
We can't make all the change in one day. It's going to take a very long time. But we're all part of it. We're all a tiny pieces of that machinery in the cogwheel that is society. And we all have a part in it. So what can we do what can the audience do when they leave is reflect and go, interesting. And maybe the next time they have a thought that is like a character in the show, maybe they remember that moment in the show, or maybe they reflect on that day that they saw it and feel bad about feeling that way or saying that thing, or I don't know, coming out of it trying to be a better human being to other people and to yourself. That's my hope.
I always say that the best theater is the theater that makes you reflect.
Yeah,
It's the theater that sparks conversation and it makes you think and it changes you. And I think
yeah,
sitting in that audience and seeing it happen right in front of your eyes, there's no experience like that. It's otherworldly.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. So, looking back on everything you have achieved in this industry, what advice would you give your younger self entering the industry?
Oh my God. Oh, I would say, oh, in your darkest times, do not give up because we all have them. Peaks and valleys in this industry, in life, right? There have been many times that I wanted to quit, or maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe it's just not meant for me. Maybe I'm not lucky enough. Um, and looking back on that, I'm so glad that I have gone through what I've gone through to get where I am because I have achieved so many dreams and I have more to achieve, of course. Um, but if I hadn't gone through what I've gone through, I wouldn't have achieved them. So I would tell my younger self, please keep going. Please don't stop doing what you love because I promise you, in however many years, it'll happen. It will. You will be standing on that Broadway stage. You'll be singing that role. You'll be reading that play. You'll be on that TV show. Um, so yeah, I that was what I would tell myself is please, please keep going. You're just at the bottom of that mountain. You have to climb it, but you'll get there. It'll happen. And peaks and valleys, we up and we go, we up and we go.
Yeah. The most beautiful views come after the hardest climbs, and I truly believe that.
Yeah, me too.
This conversation was such a dream. I can't even begin to tell you how much it means to me. I've looked up to you for years and years on end, and to get to sit down and chat with you and kind of take a little scrapbook into your career has meant the world to me. I can't even begin to fathom it into words. It's such a dream come true. I'm just so in awe of your incredible talent, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to get to look up to you and to watch you shine. It was such an honor to have you here. Thank you for inspiring me. It means the world.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you so much for asking me. Thank you for this conversation. I look forward to hopefully future conversations with you down the line and watch how you also as an artist and the directions that you go into. And I wish nothing but good things, good vibes all the way. And I please let me know if you come and see the show. I would really love to see you.
I would love that. Oh, this conversation will be imprinted on my heart forever. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Me too. Okay, bye.